Did you hear about the new Etsy update? Yeah, most people haven't. But this one is too important to ignore if you want to build a future-proof shop on Etsy. For those who are new here, my name is Starla 𝔸𝕚𝕝, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at eRank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And as a coach, I hear the question all the time. Starla, is it better to have my products on a simple background or on a staged lifestyle background? And up until a few days ago, I always advised sellers to experiment with both and see what worked best for their brand. But on November 8th, Etsy very quietly announced an all-new update that could change the importance of our thumbnails. Not that thumbnails weren't already super important for customer perception and click-through rates, but now Etsy has added in a more algorithmic and technical layer to the equation, which could mean that simple photos are more likely to succeed in search. Before we dive into the details of this update, I just want to take a moment to give a quick shout out to this week's featured shop. Thanks so much for your love and support. If you'd like to submit for your own shout out, tag Handmade Alphas in a photo or screenshot of yourself watching this video, either in your Instagram feed or Instagram stories. This announcement comes from Etsy's development team, who recently introduced the integration of visual search. The feature will first be rolled out to iOS users and is designed to help shoppers locate items on Etsy that are similar to photos that they upload. Here's how it works. Say you have a vase at home that you really love. Your friend comes to your house and admires your vase, but you can't remember exactly where you purchased it. With this new search function, users will be able to snap a quick photo of an item that they already own, or upload a photo of an item that they've saved on their phone via a small camera icon that will sit within the Etsy search bar. From there, Etsy will showcase items that their algorithm has identified as being similar to the photo uploaded by the user. And this technology isn't new. Google Lens, as well as a new search function from Pinterest, both utilize a similar system to help users perform searches based on photos. For Etsy though, this is actually pretty neat, because sometimes people know what they want to buy, but they don't quite know how to describe it. Or the keywords that they use to search for that item are different from the keywords that you use to describe it, placing a small gap between consumer demand and the product. So this is all good and well, but what do you need to know as a seller? Well, as of right now, we don't have a lot of details about this new feature, nor has Etsy shared much for us to build on. But if it works anything like Google Lens does, we do have a few key clues that may help you to take advantage of this feature. First, I strongly suspect that the algorithm will more easily be able to identify products that stand alone within their photos. For example, if you're selling a mug, but the algorithm also detects props within your thumbnail, such as a plate of cookies, this could potentially lead to less precise matching, as opposed to you just having the single mug in your thumbnail. Second, I also suspect that photos that utilize clean, light backgrounds will likely be easier for the algorithm to identify, as opposed to creative lighting and shadows that might interfere with the ability to identify what the item is. From my experience, Google Lens is pretty good, but it does have some flaws. And since Etsy doesn't have nearly as much play money as Google does, I'm just guessing that their image search function probably won't be as good as Google's right out the gate. Now, I know what you're thinking, especially if you have a lot of artsy-fartsy photos that you don't have time to reshoot. This probably sounds like a nightmare, but keep in mind, this feature is still new, which means that you probably don't need to rush to reshoot all of your images. Instead, I recommend using this information the next time that you list new products. That way, each time you add something new, you're wiggling your way a little closer to this new search function. And remember, this feature is likely just for thumbnails. So if you love your staged lifestyle shots, you can still use those in your other listing photo slots in order to help give buyers a better idea of what your item might look like in use or in its intended environment. Etsy updates can be scary, especially when they don't make a huge fuss about letting sellers know about them. But as an Etsy coach, I prioritize bringing you the most up-to-date information, strategies, and news direct from the source. And hey, speaking of staying up to date, my coaching program is actually opening again for the first time in 6 months, coming up on December 1st. The Handmade Alpha Academy is a 9-module training program that teaches sellers how to build, market, and grow dominant brands on Etsy step by step. In the Handmade Alpha Academy, I teach you how to define your target audience, how to use proven psychological triggers in your shop and marketing to attract that ideal customer, and how to build a perpetual traffic funnel so that you have more control over the money that you make from your business. As of right now, we are the only Etsy course in the world built on a foundation of neuromarketing, which is why we have over 900 successful students, many of whom run their businesses full-time. Not to mention, I'm so invested in your Etsy success that I personally buy each of my students a 12-month eRank Pro subscription so that you can utilize the very best tools to grow your business. If this sounds like something that you may be interested in checking out for your own business growth, I've added a link up here and down below where you can learn more about the program, our success stories, and the class curriculum. Overall, success on Etsy means staying on top of updates and acting before your competitors do so that you can come out on top in search. And with a little science, a lot of data, and some help from a trusted Etsy expert, you'll be well on your way to Etsy success. Cue the funky lo-fi beat.